What was soon?
Extend there.
What was soon?
Speak in English.
Haji.
Which enables us to have people who are not subject to military law, but otherwise get subject to military law because of circumstances or inviting themselves to be tried by the military law. Chairman and honorable court members, one of the reasons also advanced was that he has not got time to inform his lawyers, and therefore his lawyers are not around. But I believe there are members who are seated here at the bar, if they are not his lawyers, or if they are not members of the bar, then they should not be seated here. I do believe that you are members. The court goes ahead to read the charges to the accused persons.
General Court Martial, want to be on record that we have not had access to the accused persons. We needed to have, first of all, instructions, and also to have an interaction with the accused persons to get to understand the nature of the offenses and the entire story about this matter. So professionally, it becomes a bit difficult for us to proceed with the representation of the accused persons without having those preliminary engagements. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, lawyers act on instructions, and the instructions come with sufficient information on how they can be represented. So all we know, Dr. Besigye and a colleague traveled to Nairobi, and we don't know, we're not aware how he ended up here. So it becomes extremely difficult for us to proceed under those circumstances. We thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The court should adjourn to make to pronounce itself and make a ruling on the objection of jurisdiction, whether they are subject to court martial or not, and come and pronounce itself. But for now also, I don't know whether Lord Mayor is talking as a lawyer for the accused. I don't know. Maybe by the time court comes to give its ruling, I don't know whether I will have access to him. But Kari, as of now, he said he has not contacted any lawyer.
I'm inquiring whether, since I don't have lawyers as yet, our objection would not benefit
from that representation in itself, so that the ruling comes after I have had a representation. A law has been quoted as to why we should be subject to this court. I don't have the laws with me. I cannot respond. My lawyers haven't been briefed. I think it would be unfair to make a ruling before we have had the benefit of legal representation in that.
Be taken now, that one will be a ruling. So you are not represented, but I don't think that that one has a problem, because the ruling will be, as Judge Advocate has said, to continue or not to continue with considering your objections. So I don't think that one will affect. Maybe Mayor J.A. was asking, in what capacity did you submit? As a volunteer, as a friend, or as their lawyer?
Chairman, we've been searching for the whereabouts of Dr. Besigye since he got missing. And we learned that he's being brought here. And as you are aware, there are so many parties that are concerned with this matter. And as one of the lawyers who are concerned in this matter, I had to step in to ensure that justice is done. But as whether I have instructions from him or not, that is the matter which is subject to a pronouncement, a decision of this honorable court. And I've put a disclaimer on that. I have not interacted with him, much as I've been a lawyer in search for his whereabouts.
You have the sit out right there.
Ruling on objection by Colonel Retired Dr. Chiza Besigye and another to be tried by General Court Martial. The two accused persons were brought before this court for pre-taking and raised objection on the ground that they are civilians and therefore cannot be tried by this court. In reply, Councillor Fire Mojshala and Counsel for the State submitted that jurisdiction to try a person not otherwise subject to military law is provided under Section 117 of the UPDF Act. This court has looked at Section 117 G and H of the UPDF Act and finds that the accused persons are subject to military law. The objection is therefore overruled. We so rule. The Republic of Uganda, Uganda People's Defense Forces, and the General Court Martial holding at Makindye, Kampala. Criminal case number UPDF stroke GCM stroke 040 of 2024. A charge sheet. Uganda versus A1 ROV 0098, Colonel Retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, a male adult of sound mind, aged 67 years, resident of Kasangati Town, Nangawo Sub-County, Nansana Municipality, Waxer District, a person subject to military law by virtue of Section 117, subsection 1HI of the EPDF Act, cap 330. And A2 Haj Obeid Lutale, a male adult of sound mind aged 65 years, a resident of Mutundwe Village, Mutundwe Parish, Makinde Sabagabo Sub-County, Busiro County, Wakiso District, a person subject to military law by virtue of Section 117, subsection 1, HI of the EPDF Act, cap 330, are hereby charged with statement of offense on count 1. Offenses relating to security contrary to Section 128, subsection 1F of the EPDF Act, cap 330. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, Haj Obeid Lutale, and others still at large between October 2023 and November 2024, while in cities to wit Geneva in Switzerland, Athens in Greece, and Nairobi in Kenya, held meetings aimed at soliciting for logistical support and identifying military targets in Uganda with intent to prejudice the security of the defense forces. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered. Obeid Lutale, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 1? Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't accept.
A plea of not guilty and statement of offense on count 2. An unlawful possession of firearms contrary to Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, Haj Obeid Lutale, on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of a pistol model 27 KAL number 765, which is ordinarily the monopoly of the defense forces. Colonel Dr. Chiza Besigye, have you heard to?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
Haji Obeid Lutale, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 2? Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty, statement of offense. An unlawful possession of firearms contrary to Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, Haj Obeid Lutale, on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of a pistol HB 1014-1953, which is ordinarily the monopoly of the defense forces. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 3?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered. Haj Obeid Lutale, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 3?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty. Count 4, statement of offense. An unlawful possession of ammunition contrary to Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, Haj Obeid Lutale on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in unlawful possession of 08 rounds of pistol ammunition, which are ordinarily the monopoly of the defense forces. So, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
Yes, I have.
Do you accept or don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered on count 4. Haj Obeid Lutale, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
I have.
Do you accept or don't accept?
To put the government of Kenya to task. This is not the first time it is happening. It has happened before with our 36 colleagues who were kidnapped from Kisumu, brought here and arraigned on charges of terrorism. We raised a memorandum with the High Commissioner here. We didn't get any response. Up to now, we are not favored with a reply. It has happened again. In the same manner, by the same forces, you just walk into a hotel, break into somebody's room, pick them up, drive them away at a breakneck speed, whisk them away, and end up charging them in Ugandan courts here or tribunals. That is an absurdity. It's a travesty of the law. It's a travesty of justice, which is totally unacceptable. Because you can only repatriate people who are alleged to have committed offenses outside the jurisdiction of this court in two circumstances. One, deportation. And these are all regulated by the processes governed under the law. It can only be either through deportation or extradition, in which case you have to follow the due process as enshrined in the laws governing the two sister countries. Uganda has got its extradition law. Likewise, Kenya has got theirs. So, if you were to do or to pursue extradition processes, there are mechanisms. It is initiated by a memoranda raised by the Minister for Foreign Affairs here to his counterpart in Kenya. And then they follow the processes which involve a judicial process, because the courts of Kenya have to issue orders to that effect, that so and so is required back in their country on account of certain cases, charges preferred against them. They must be considered as fugitives who are running away from the long arm of the law, who are running away from justice in their countries of origin. It's only that in those circumstances. Two, if it's about deportation, you must have entered that country, Kenya, illegally, and it should be that country complaining that somebody entered here illegally, or having entered illegally, they committed offenses in that respective country. So in that case, again, the judiciary has to pronounce itself on that matter, has to issue orders that so and so, having entered here illegally or having entered here legally, committed an offense, must be deported to their country. It has not happened that way. So here they are, illegally. And the Human Rights Enforcement Act of Uganda is very clear. Once you've gotten proceedings which are rooted in a nullity, they cannot be sustained in any court of law, including the court martial here. They must be dismissed. And the accused persons have to be discharged. So it's the reason we are asking this court, please strike out discharge sheet. Secondly, we are asking again the government of Kenya, is it, as matters stand today, is it safe for opposition politicians in Uganda to enter Kenya and stay there? Is it safe? Or we are persona non grata now in Kenya? Or Kenyans, or the government of Kenya is complicit in these transgressions, in these violations being perpetrated by the regime forces here? How can they just cross the borders, pick out people who entered Kenya legally and whisk them away with reckless abandon. And the government of Kenya keeps quiet about it with no intervention at all. So we consider them to be complicit in all what is happening. The government of Kenya has to account to us. They owe us an explanation what is happening with all these illegal kidnaps happening in Kenya and our people being whisked back here illegally. So they owe us an explanation. We are going to pursue that matter. We are not going to let it lie down. We are going to continue. We have time and again raised it. We questioned it. We raised the memorandum with the High Commissioner here. They never responded. We are going to pursue it again. Then the other thing is about the legality of the proceedings here. We challenged the constitutionality, not the constitutionality. We challenged the propriety of the proceedings involving civilians before the General Court Martial. And the Constitutional Court pronounced itself on this unanimously. The justices of the Constitutional Court unequivocally stated that, you see, trial of civilians in the General Court Martial is in the nullity, and therefore they should forthwith transfer all the files they were handling at that time to the civil courts. It has not happened up to now. What the Attorney General did was to apply for an interim order of stay, which was granted by Justice Owinyidola and his team, pending disposal of that appeal. To date, the appeal has not been fixed. And we're asking Justice Owinyidola, please, are you doing are you doing a favor to Ugandans? Are you being, I don't even know how to phrase it, but we are asking Justice Owinyidola, please, with all these transgressions and violation of our rights, what is it that is stopping you from fixing this case, the appeal, so that we can be free, so that we get out of this kangaroo court? Oftentimes we get our people brought here, not for administration of justice, but for persecution. For how long should the Supreme Court or the court system should be complicit in the persecution of the opposition politicians under this General Court Martial? So Justice Owinyidola is also accountable for that. And we are going back to the drawing board as lawyers here to explore ways of reactivating those proceedings and pushing that matter to its logical conclusion. Because as long as this kangaroo court still exists and it has jurisdiction or arrogates itself jurisdiction to try civilians, we shall always be persecuted. So we are going to pursue it to its logical conclusion.
You are supposed to be having a lawyer. We have 2 lawyers of government who are paid by the government, but you have the right to hire your own lawyers to come and represent you. I'm starting with you, Afande Besigye. You opt to use lawyers of government, of course, or you want to bring your own lawyers? But we have government lawyers who are paid by the government. There is Captain Simon Suruga and Lieutenant Kabumbe.
I've already said I will be having my own lawyers, but I haven't briefed them yet.
The same with me. The same with me.
Yes, your lawyers are not around, but I believe you know them. You can mention their names.
I object to a court of the military because I am not a member of the UPDF, and I believe that I should be tried by a civil court if I am suspected of having committed an offense.
I believe I'm a civilian. Since I was born, I've never joined Air Force or even being a scout. So I think I must be tried by a civil court.